Writing insight-driven market research summaries. Businesses need to distill large datasets into clear, actionable insights. Market research summaries help decision-makers understand customer trends, product opportunities, and key areas to improve. In this lesson, you will use Python to analyze real market research and customer analytics data, then write concise, evidence-backed summaries. You will practice extracting findings about customer satisfaction, campaign effectiveness, and more. Running the cell now. We import pandas for working with tabular datasets, which is essential for market research analysis. We import NumPy for data manipulation and reproducibility in synthetic or random data. We import OpenML to easily access real-world benchmark datasets for marketing and survey analysis. We import warnings to control warning messages. We turn off warnings so the output stays clean and easy to follow. Running the cell now. Market research data and survey analytics concepts. Customer survey datasets contain responses, demographic data, and sometimes open-ended feedback. Responses may use scales, such as 1 to 5 satisfaction or Net Promoter Score 0 to 10, yes or no, or free text answers. Demographic columns, like age, region, or income, enable segmentation and subgroup analysis. Common beginner mistakes include ignoring missing values, misreading scale directions, or reporting findings without samples or context. Running the cell now. We start our analysis by loading a real customer satisfaction survey dataset from OpenML. This command fetches the dataset, so we will be working with actual customer response data. Here we get the data in a pandas data frame. We check the number of rows and columns to understand the dataset size. We preview the first 3 rows to see what the data looks like. Running the cell now. This output shows the customer satisfaction survey dataset loaded with 7,043 rows and 20 columns, indicating a substantial sample size and many variables to analyze. The preview highlights key demographic and service-related columns like gender, tenure, and contract type, which we can use to segment responses and explore patterns in churn and satisfaction. Notice how understanding the dataset structure and contents is essential before performing any analysis or drawing insights from survey data. What types of columns do you see in the preview? Try listing a few. You can replay this cell and use print satisfaction_df.columns to explore more. Next, we calculate the overall customer churn rate, which is the percentage of customers who have left. This code computes the proportion of customers with churn equal to yes. We print out the overall churn rate as a percentage. Running the cell now. This output shows that 26.54% of customers reported they have churned, giving a clear overall churn rate from the survey data. Notice how the code uses value_counts, normalize equals true, to correctly calculate the proportion of yes responses, ensuring the rate is relative to valid responses. This step is crucial for accurate market analysis, as it highlights key customer retention metrics while accounting for all available data. Can you think of a reason why understanding churn is important for business leaders? Businesses often want to know which contract type is most popular among their customers. This line finds the contract type with the highest count. We display the most common contract type. Running the cell now. This output shows that the most frequent contract type among survey respondents is the month-to-month. The code counts all contract categories and identifies the one with the highest occurrence, helping us understand the predominant customer agreement. Noticing this distribution is key for segmenting satisfaction results by contract and avoiding assumptions without analyzing sample sizes. Try changing contract to another column and rerun to see which group is biggest in that category. To analyze marketing results, we load a real-world marketing campaign dataset from OpenML. We fetch the dataset for our analysis. We get the data as a pandas data frame. We rename the columns for business clarity. We check the dataset size. We preview the first 3 campaign records to see what our data looks like. Running the cell now. The output shows the loaded campaign dataset has 45,211 rows and 17 columns, indicating a large sample size with multiple features including demographics, campaign details, and response. Notice key columns like age, job, education, and response, which are essential for segmentation and analyzing customer responses. This confirms the data structure needed to explore patterns and trends in marketing survey responses while being mindful of column meanings and missing values. Looking for response rates in a dataset like this is a great first step. Let us calculate how many customers responded positively to the campaign. This code computes and returns the percentage of yes equals 2 responses to the marketing offer. We print the response rate as a percentage. Running the cell now. This output shows that 11.7% of the surveyed customers responded with a 2 on the response scale, indicating their level of engagement with the campaign. Notice how the code correctly calculates the proportion of this specific response to understand campaign effectiveness. This step is crucial to avoid mistakes like overlooking response categories or failing to present findings with proper context and sampling awareness. Soft skill, practice phrasing results for business, approximately _% of contacted customers engaged with the campaign. Business leaders often want to know if some contract types have higher churn. We group by contract type and calculate % of churn equal to yes for each. We label the result as churn rate by contract type. We print the churn rate for each contract type, showing significant differences if present. Running the cell now. This output shows the churn rate percentages segmented by contract type, revealing a clear decreasing trend from month-to-month to 2-year contracts. Notice how short-term contracts have much higher churn, which aligns with expectations in customer retention analysis. This emphasizes the importance of segmenting churn rates by relevant demographics or contract terms to understand patterns rather than relying on overall averages. Which contract type is at highest risk? Try summarizing this output in one sentence. Averages by customer group often point to key reasons for attrition or satisfaction. We group by churn status and take the mean of monthly charges for each group. Now we see average monthly charges for those who left versus those who stayed. Looking at these averages can help shape pricing or retention strategies. Running the cell now. This output shows the average monthly charges for customers who stayed versus those who churned. Notice that customers who churned have higher average charges, $74.44, compared to those who stayed, $61.27, suggesting a potential link between cost and churn. This highlights the value of segmenting data by outcome variables to uncover actionable insights in customer behavior. What does it mean if customers who churned were paying more? Can you think of a next analysis question? Net Promoter Score, NPS, is a key customer loyalty metric for many companies. We set a random seed for reproducibility. We create a synthetic, but realistic, survey with customer ID, age, region, and NPS score. Each customer gets a unique identifier. Randomly assigned customer ages. Customers are randomly assigned a region. NPS scores are collected from each responder. We count customers who are promoters, NPS 9 to 10. We count detractors, NPS 0 to 6. Total responses helps us compute the metric correctly. We use the standard formula, % of promoters minus % of detractors. We print the NPS, positive means more promoters, negative means more detractors. Running the cell now. This output shows a Net Promoter Score of -47.6, indicating many more detractors, scores 0 to 6, than promoters, scores 9 to 10, in this simulated survey. Notice how the code counts and compares these groups relative to all 500 responses to compute the NPS, demonstrating how to translate raw survey scores into a single, actionable customer loyalty metric. This highlights the importance of correctly classifying and summarizing scaled response data in market research. Practice writing one sentence to describe this NPS to a business stakeholder. Watch our YouTube channel for more NPS tips. Often, companies track NPS by region to spot loyalty gaps. We group our survey by region and count the number of promoters, 9 to 10. We also count detractors, 0 to 6. Total survey respondents in every region tells us our sample size per group. We relabel the counts for clarity. Now we calculate NPS for each region using the standard method. We view the NPS for each region in a concise table. Running the cell now. This output shows the Net Promoter Score, NPS, calculated separately for each region, highlighting differences in customer sentiment by geography. Notice all scores are negative, indicating more detractors than promoters across regions, with the South showing the lowest NPS. This segmentation is crucial for identifying where customer loyalty is weakest and tailoring follow-up strategies accordingly. Which region is doing best? Which needs attention? Try writing a one-sentence summary. Open-ended feedback lets customers express opinions in their own words. We create a small dataset of 5 customer feedback comments. We include both positive and negative examples. This review will help us illustrate basic sentiment analysis. Mix of positive and constructive feedback for richer insights. We use TextBlob for basic text sentiment scoring. We score each feedback between -1, very negative, and +1, very positive. We print the feedback with sentiment scores to spot trends instantly. Running the cell now. This output shows the original customer feedback alongside calculated sentiment scores, which quantify positive or negative tone on a scale from -1 to 1. Notice how positive comments like excellent quality correspond to high sentiment values near 1, while negative or neutral feedback results in lower or 0 scores. This demonstrates how sentiment analysis can transform open-ended responses into measurable insights for market research. How might you summarize this feedback in a business update? You can try with your own phrases. Understanding which customer segments respond to campaigns can guide future targeting. We analyze the response rate split by education level. We sort the results so you can quickly spot where response rates are highest. Running the cell now. This output shows the percentage of respondents who selected 2 on the response scale, segmented by their education level. Notice that those with tertiary education have the highest response rate at 15%, while primary education respondents show the lowest at around 8.6%. This highlights how grouping by demographics can reveal meaningful differences in campaign engagement across education levels, a key step in targeted market analysis. What other demographic variables could you try, besides education? Retention trends are key insights for growth and forecasting. We set a random seed for reproducibility. We build a range of monthly sign-up dates covering 2 years. We create a synthetic data frame with user IDs, sign-up month, and number of active users each month. Randomly assigned customers for each period. Tracking sign-ups over time. Tracking activity over time. We add a month string column for charting. Now we sum active users for each month. We plot the number of active users per month to show how retention trends over time. Running the cell now. This plot shows the total number of active users each month, aggregated from synthetic cohort sign-up data over 2 years. Notice how summing active users by month reveals trends in customer retention, highlighting periods of growth or decline. This helps demonstrate how cohort and time-based grouping can uncover insights in market research datasets. How would you describe the shape of this retention curve to an executive team? Cross-tabulation lets you view survey outcomes by several variables at once. We create a table of churn percentage, broken out by both contract type and payment method. We fill any missing values with 0 and convert rates to percentages. We print our crosstab so it is easy to compare which combinations have the highest churn. Running the cell now. This cross-tabulation shows the average churn rate, percent, segmented by both contract type and payment method, revealing key patterns in customer retention. Notice that month-to-month contracts have much higher churn across all payment methods, especially with electronic checks, 53.7%, while longer contracts consistently show lower churn. This highlights how combining demographic and behavioral variables helps identify high-risk groups for targeted interventions. Which contract and payment method combination stands out most? Try writing a brief recommendation. It is critical to know if any survey columns are missing data before reporting findings. We check for missing, null, values in every column. We label our output for clarity. We print a summary of only columns with missing responses. Running the cell now. This output shows that there are no missing values in any columns of the satisfaction dataset, as indicated by the empty series. This confirms the data is complete for all respondents, allowing reliable analysis without needing imputation or removal of incomplete rows. Checking for missing data first is crucial in survey analytics to avoid biased or invalid conclusions. If you see any missing data, note which columns might need special attention. Grouping by the wrong or misspelled column is a common analysis mistake. We try to group by a column that does not exist. We catch the error if it occurs. If there is an error, we print a helpful message. Running the cell now. This output shows a key error caught when trying to group the survey data by a column that doesn't exist. It highlights the importance of verifying column names before analysis to avoid runtime errors. This step safeguards your workflow, ensuring meaningful segmentation when calculating metrics like average churn by valid demographic or response groups. Always double-check your column names, especially after renaming or loading. Many analysts make errors by using the wrong NPS groupings. We create a small sample set of NPS responses. We count promoters correctly, those who said 9 or 10. We count detractors correctly, those who said 0 to 6. This formula gives us the true NPS using standard definitions. We print the correctly computed NPS. Running the cell now. This output demonstrates the correct calculation of Net Promoter Score, NPS, by properly classifying promoters, scores 9 to 10, and detractors, 0 to 6, from the sample data. Notice the negative NPS value, reflecting more detractors than promoters, which highlights the importance of applying the scale thresholds accurately. This reinforces the lesson's emphasis on correctly interpreting and coding survey response scales to avoid misleading insights. Mistaken group definitions can mislead the business. Always check scoring guidelines. Market research best practices and key analytics patterns. Segment your analysis to find differences and opportunities across groups. Use crosstabs and pivot tables to reveal relationships between variables. Construct composite scores, like NPS, CSAT, or a loyalty index, for clearer insights. Always check for trends over time to support long-term business decisions. Document all assumptions and data quality issues in your summary. Running the cell now. Combining features into new segments exposes hidden at-risk or high-potential groups. We flag customers as a high value if their monthly charges are above 80 and they have been with us for over 2 years. We calculate churn rate for each segment. We print churn rates to see if our new segment behaves differently. Running the cell now. This output shows the churn rate segmented by a composite high-value index, combining monthly charges and tenure. Notice that customers classified as high value, with charges greater than $80 and tenure greater than 24 months, have a lower churn rate, 21%, compared to others, 28%, highlighting how segmentation reveals important differences in customer behavior. This supports using combined features to identify valuable groups with better retention for targeted strategies. Business insight: do your most valuable, long-tenured customers have higher or lower churn? Why might that be? Trend analysis lets companies see response changes or seasonality in campaigns. We convert month names into numeric form for analysis. We calculate the response rate for each month number. We skip any invalid or missing months. We plot the monthly response rates to spot trends or low-high periods. Running the cell now. This plot shows the positive campaign response rate trend across calendar months, revealing how engagement varies seasonally. Notice the shape of the line to identify peak months with the highest response rates, highlighting opportunities for optimized campaign timing. This aligns with best practices to segment by time and track trends for smarter, data-driven marketing decisions. Where is the response rate peaking? Try summarizing this trend briefly. Here is a complete workflow, survey data to a simple, written business summary. We set a random seed for repeatability. We generate customer region and NPS scores for 200 responses. We group by region to summarize promoters, detractors, and total samples. This step counts promoters, NPS 9 to 10, for each region. This counts detractors, NPS 0 to 6, for each region. We record the number of responses. We relabel the columns for clarity in reporting. Now we calculate NPS for each region. We identify which region has the highest NPS. And we find the region with the lowest score. Next, we write a one-paragraph, text-based executive summary with NPS for each region and call out the top and bottom regions. We loop over the regions and write a line for each. This writes the NPS for each region. We also write which region is performing best. And we note the region with lowest performance. Finally, we print the NPS table for review before we open the summary file. Running the cell now. This output shows the calculated Net Promoter Score, NPS, for each region, highlighting differences in customer loyalty across segments. Notice all regions have negative NPS values, indicating more detractors than promoters, with East performing worst and South slightly better. This segmentation reveals key opportunities to focus improvement efforts regionally, aligning with the lesson's emphasis on using composite scores and group analysis to guide strategic decisions. Now opening the written market research summary so we can see how insights are explained for executives. Take a look at the summary file to practice translating analysis into written insights. Want more? Visit our YouTube Learning playlist for business reporting tips.